rise for the presentation of our nation's colors, presented by the Andrew Blackhawk American Legion Post 129 from the Ho-Chunk Nation, followed by the national anthem sung by international Grammy recording artist and member of the band Reina, Gabriela Buñuelos, and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Emma Pro.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the hand of the free and the hope of the brave.
You may be seated. And let us bow together in prayer. Eternal God, we bow before your holy presence on this very solemn occasion to celebrate and commemorate the elevation of Judge Janet Protasiewicz to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. We give thanks and honor for the opportunity of having her serve in this very sublime office of our state. We ask, God, that you would grant her wisdom, sound judgment, courage, and gravity. We offer this our prayer in humility and sincerity. Amen.
I don't know about you, but there's something about that drum that always gets me going. So welcome, everyone. My name is Derek Mosley. I'm the director of Marquette University Law School's Lubar Center for Public Policy Research and Civic Education. And it is my honor to be the MC tonight of the investiture of Justice-elect Janet Protasiewicz to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So I've known Janet for quite some time, whether it was on the bench in Milwaukee while she served as a circuit court Milwaukee County judge, and I served as a city of Milwaukee municipal court judge, or I've known her since we were assistant district attorneys in Milwaukee County, representing the citizens of Milwaukee County as assistant district attorneys. And even more than that, Janet and I often speak on behalf and go to events of our alma mater, Marquette University Law School. But despite all of that, the thing that I'm most proud of is that Janet is my friend. And I can't be any more proud of you, my friend. So, as MC, it's my job to make sure that everything goes on time, and I'm going to stick to the agenda. In fact, I am so confident that I actually parked on the street and only put $1 in the meter for 1 hour. I got 1 hour. So, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Dallet.
Thank you, Judge Mosley. What an awesome day for the state of Wisconsin. It is an honor to be here and to have the opportunity to join in this celebration as we welcome our newest justice, Janet Protasiewicz, as the member of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. As many of you know, this isn't the first time I've worked with Janet to serve the people of the state of Wisconsin. We worked together first as prosecutors in Milwaukee County, protecting the rights of victims and holding wrongdoers accountable. Then we served on the circuit court bench together, and I saw firsthand her commitment to the law and the Wisconsin Constitution. Over the years we've worked closely together, I've not only had the opportunity to see her intellect and her strength, but I've also seen her warm heart, how she is a true, deeply empathetic friend to so many, and how everything she does is rooted in her working class upbringing. She knows that our system is imperfect, and we must work hard to reduce inequity and make sure that we live up to the promise of America, that all of us are treated equally before the law. That's why I'm also proud to call her my friend. Working with her in Milwaukee County, I saw how she handled the tough cases. She treated every person with dignity. She cared about victims as well as defendants. She treated attorneys, staff, litigants, everyone in the courtroom with respect. And she always upholds the law. To put it simply, she does what is right. As we begin this new chapter together on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, I have no doubt that she will continue to serve the people of this great state with honor. I know Janet understands the significant role of this court. In every case, we look to the law, the facts, the Constitution, and we work collegially to make decisions that are rooted in precedent and to protect the constitutional rights of the people of Wisconsin. We have a heady responsibility as members of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and I'm proud to have colleagues like Justice Janet Protasiewicz who are willing to serve and take on this responsibility. So Janet, I want to officially congratulate you on your investiture today. I look forward to working with you again and together delivering on the promise of justice and fairness for every Wisconsinite. Forward.
It is my pleasure to introduce to the stage retired Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Janine Geske.
Justices, judges, I'm so wonderful to see so many judges here. Dean Kearney, honored guests, family and friends of Janet. I too want to say what a wonderful day. Congratulations, Janet. You don't know this, but 30 years ago I was sitting in that seat being sworn in as a member of the court. So So I decided what I would do today is try to share a few pieces of advice and encouragement for you. Continue to be yourself. You are social, friendly, funny, patient, spiritual, and thoughtful. You can use your gifts to be both pragmatic, playful, and yet serious when necessary. Those characteristics will carry you through tough times on the court and in the community. Stay close to your friends and family, and particularly Greg. Their love will continue to support you in important ways. You will now be facing a new experience, serving part of a collegial court. You will find when you want to ask a lawyer a question during an argument, you're going to have to wait your turn. Even when the prior question took counsel in a completely different direction. Finessing your inquiries in amongst those 6 other colleagues can be a challenge, but I know you're up for that challenge. When I used to explain to the public what it was like to be a Supreme Court justice back in the conference room deciding a case, I compared it to sitting down at a Thanksgiving dinner with a bunch of strangers and some newly acquired in-laws, and then asking everyone how they feel about the most controversial issue you could think of. It makes for vigorous and sometimes contentious debates, but always your great listening skills and ability to advocate your views will serve you well. Remember who you now serve. Just like I did, you are coming into this position having devoted many years to the citizens of Milwaukee County. You will no longer be Judge Janet, you will be Justice Janet. I know you will demonstrate deep respect for all the parties and attorneys who come into the court, always remaining faithful to the rule of law. Now you serve the entire state from farmers to businesses, from the homeless to the wealthy, from victims to convicted felons, and from parents to children. You now represent the top of our third branch of democracy in Wisconsin. I am personally thrilled because I know you have a strong commitment to access to the courts for all, to transparency, and to the highest ethical standards for judges and lawyers. Finally, I'm going to ask for a show of hands. How many here have either had your picture taken by Janet or with Janet? I want to see hands. The reason I'm asking that is that we all know, right? Janet is a wonderful picture taken, but I have to warn you, Janet, that you have serious competition for that official photographer role because Ann Walsh Bradley is extraordinary in her ability to capture important moments. So I suggest you consider a collaboration with her on this point. And so, Janet, I end by again congratulating you and wishing you many wonderful experiences as the newest Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice.
It is my pleasure to introduce to the stage Marquette Law School Dean Joseph Kearney.
Thank you, Judge Mosley, and good afternoon to justices, judges, and all guests. Some might think me an unlikely speaker today. Perhaps no one in the legal profession stayed farther away from the Supreme Court race than did I. To be sure, I voted this past spring more than once, lest anyone, knowing me to be a native Chicagoan, mistake that comment. Allow me to remind you that there was a primary election too. As for the distance, it's a tradition. For the past 20 years, as with my predecessor, the late Howard Eisenberg, standing apart from endorsements has been my approach to contested elections. Marquette University Law School assiduously seeks to be an honest broker in its prominent role in discussions of public policy, and for me as dean, that has counseled personal reticence. The campaign must be behind us all, and I am very glad to be here. And if anyone takes me to be speaking for the law school today, that will be just fine. It is an important occasion, the 88th time, by my count, that a justice has joined Wisconsin's highest court. For this, the most newly created of the court's 7 seats, first filled in 1908, there have been 9 predecessors. They include the state's longest-serving Chief Justice, the Honorable Marvin Rosenberry, and most recently, until yesterday, the Honorable Patience D. Rogensack. I have considered it a privilege to work with Justice Rogensack throughout the past 20 years, including her 6 years as Chief Justice. The person whose investiture we celebrate today is a Marquette lawyer, Janet Protasiewicz. The law school has closely followed Janet's career in public service since her graduation in 1988. We also have known her, in a way especially meaningful to us, as an adjunct professor teaching trial practice for us during a 4-year period, both right before and then following the time of her becoming a judge. It is more than that the students so took to her as a professor. It is also what the work has in common with her new position. Appellate judges are influential teachers. They not only announce the judgment to the parties, but explain to the public at large the principles underlying it, principles that presumably will be widely taken to govern not just subsequent such cases, but future such conduct. Appellate judges' influence on future conduct is a particular reason that their writings are among the things that we call the law. This court often deals in fraught matters, from controversies over fugitive slave laws in the 1850s to disputes over executive authority during a pandemic. Our justices, as they all are, have found themselves grappling with some of the thorniest controversies of the day. Can there be any doubt that our polity benefits from a court whose members evince respect for and patience, general goodwill with one another, whatever the prevailing circumstances, surrounding pressures, or even unbridgeable substantive differences? A rhetorical question. Candor impels me to note that I worry about the court. In fact, the state of our system of government concerns me in ways that less than a decade ago I had not anticipated. Yet I am optimistic. The constitutional design helps a good deal, including not least the one Supreme Court established by Article 7 of the Wisconsin Constitution. Even today, few generally responsible people have suggested, for example, not respecting the judgments of courts, low or high. Partly, too, and especially today, the confidence is personal. At her trial court investiture in 2014, and if you think this was a good crowd, you should have been at the Wisconsin Club that day in Milwaukee, I noted my belief in Judge Protasiewicz's teaching, that it had gone so well because of her appreciation that excellence requires constant learning. I know her to believe this in this new context also. So I will close my remarks with the same observation as on that earlier occasion. On behalf of not just her former students, and not just those of us associated with Marquette University Law School, but for all of us who are students of the law, I look forward to our learning various things from Judge, now Justice, Janet Protasiewicz. Her record as a fine teacher speaks volumes about her coming work as a justice of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Warm congratulations and all good wishes.
Please welcome to the stage Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Ann Walsh Bradley.
How wonderful. What an amazing day. I say, let us rejoice and be glad. Right? Janet, 28 years ago, Janine said 30 years ago for her, but I remind you, Janine, I've been here all 28 years. 28 years ago, I sat where you are now sitting. It was in this state capitol rotunda, waiting to take the office as a newly elected justice to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. In my early years on the court, we were considered to be one of the top state courts in the entire nation. Our decisions were often cited and followed by courts of other states. Now, why do I tell you that? Why is that important? I tell you that because of what it signifies. I used to be a high school teacher, and so I not only ask the questions, I answer them on occasion. I'll tell you why it is important. It's important because it shows the respect that other state courts had of our decisions and how the Wisconsin Supreme Court influenced the development of the law throughout the country. We were also considered one of the top state courts in judicial administration. We were the first in the nation to open up our administrative conferences, airing them on public access TV, opening wide the doors of our hearing room and inviting the public in to see how we conduct our administrative business. Supreme courts in other states would look to us for new ideas. We were on the forefront, the very forefront of treatment courts, instituting them around the state, of advancing programs for pro se litigants, and many of our outreach programs not only won national recognition, they won national awards. We knew then, and we know now, that to ensure a truly just legal system, one that reflects the history and the hope of this state, that we must make the courts more accessible to the public. No matter if you are rich or poor, powerful or powerless, no matter what your station in life, your political or religious beliefs, we are here as a court system to serve all of the people of this state. As justices on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, we may analyze cases differently, but we are united in our commitment to ensuring a fair and just legal system. Yes, amen. Our challenge, the challenge of the 7 justices, all of us on the Supreme Court, is to work to enhance the public trust and confidence of the people in the judiciary and return this court to the national reputation that it once enjoyed. Right. And why do we do that? Not just because it's going to improve the system itself. Admittedly, it will do that. But more importantly, we do that because it will be good for the people of the state of Wisconsin. It will be good for the over 5.8 million people that call this great state our home. That's why it's important, and that's why we're here today. Janet, I want to close by telling you how honored I am that I can administer the oath to you today, and how thrilled I am that you also embrace this challenge. So if you would come forward. Janet, if you would raise your right hand, come on in, Greg.
Okay.
He's shy.
Not really.
And if you would repeat after me, I, and state your name.
I, Janet Protasiewicz,
Who have been elected
to
the office of the Supreme Court Justice
the office of Supreme Court Justice
of the state of Wisconsin,
of the state of Wisconsin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and that I will administer justice
and that I will administer justice
without respect to persons and will faithfully
and impartially
discharge the duties of the office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, our justice.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here with us today. I can't tell you how much it means to see so many friends, family, colleagues, and community leaders here today to recognize this occasion. I'd like to thank Justice Ann Walsh Bradley for leading our swearing in. Your friendship and the decades of mentorship and leadership you have given to the people of the state of Wisconsin, we all owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Justice Dallet, Justice Hagedorn, and Justice Karofsky for joining us today. I look forward to serving alongside all of you, along with Chief Justice Ziegler and Justice Bradley, to uphold the Constitution of our state and deliver on the promise of justice for every Wisconsinite. I wouldn't be here today without so many of you in this room who I've had the opportunity to work with and learn from throughout my career. It was a long campaign, so many of you probably know that I am a former prosecutor. As a former prosecutor and judge, I've witnessed firsthand the importance of upholding our laws, holding people accountable, and applying justice fairly and equally. I've learned so much from my colleagues in the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office and my colleagues and all my staff members in the Milwaukee County Circuit Court. It has been a privilege, and I thank you, to work alongside all of you. You have all made me who I am today, and I thank you for being here. I also want to recognize the many current and former members of the Circuit Court bench, the Appellate Court bench, and the Municipal Court bench, who work every day, every single day, to make sure the rights of every Wisconsinite are upheld. And I need to thank my entire family. You know, Emma did that Pledge of Allegiance. I would have asked my niece Olivia to play a role, but she was in New Zealand, and I never dreamed she would come here for this event. So Olivia, thank you for being here today with all of us. My brother Steve, his wife Jen, everybody who has followed this campaign from the beginning to the end, my very, very dear friends, and I would be remiss, quite frankly, if I didn't give a special shout out to my very, very dear friend Val, who sits in the front row. We met on the first day of law school at Marquette many years ago, and I think on that first day of law school we weren't so sure we made the right decision. In the end, it obviously turned out well, but she deserves a very special shout out. During this entire campaign, I told people, you know what, I didn't grocery shop for a year, I didn't walk the dog for a year, I didn't do laundry for almost a year, and she was dutiful in dropping off care packages to me almost every week, and I thank you, and I know it wasn't easy for you to get here today, so thank you. I also want to thank my husband, Greg, who is truly the best support system. He has always believed in me, and he barely hesitated for more than a day or two when I told him that I thought I was going to get involved in a statewide race. Greg's the best. Thank you, Greg. I also would like to thank my campaign team and the thousands of volunteers. And I know there were thousands of volunteers who gave their time and their energy. I know you canvassed, I know you phone banked, I know you sent postcards, I know you contacted all of your networks. I am well aware of what you've all done, and I know that there were many, many of you doing that. And I hope you don't feel as though that was a thankless job. I thank all of you for that. I'm well aware of it. All of your generosity and determination made this possible today, and I will be forever grateful for what we were able to accomplish together. To everyone who has been part of today's beautiful program, thank you for your kind words, your friendship, and for making this event a success. I thank Justice Dallet for stepping up and filling in for my dear friend Lavelle Johnson, who had a family emergency this morning. You can always count on Justice Dallet in a pinch, so thank you very much. And how about Gabriela Banuelos and that beautiful rendition of our national anthem? Stunning. Thank you very much. But my biggest thank you goes to the people of the state of Wisconsin for placing your trust in me and granting me this responsibility. I look forward to serving you as a member of this court and doing my best to represent a state that I've called home and loved my entire life. I've always believed in public service. Throughout my entire career, I've had only one client, and that is the people of our beautiful state of Wisconsin. It is truly, truly the honor of a lifetime to have this unbelievable opportunity to continue to serve all of you. I was born and raised on the south side of Milwaukee to hardworking parents. I went to UW Milwaukee and then Marquette Law School. Worked my way through college doing all sorts of things. I was a waitress, I wrote music reviews for the Milwaukee Journal, I ran the office for the League of Women Voters, did all sorts of things. And trust me, during all of those long days and nights, I really truly never imagined that this is where I would end up. But all of those long hours led to an incredible opportunity to see our judicial system up close. And it allowed me to see what I believe is universal to Wisconsinites all across our beautiful state. And that is, everyone should get a fair shot to demand justice and not feel like the thumb is on the scale against them. Traveling the state over the past year only made this more apparent. From Racine to Bayfield and every place in between, and I mean every place in between. I was everywhere. I was in some places 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times, such as La Crosse and Eau Claire. I was everywhere. But I heard from the people of this state about our shared beliefs. We all want a Wisconsin where our freedoms are protected. We want a Wisconsin with a fair and impartial Supreme Court. We all want to live in communities that are safe. And we all want a Wisconsin where everyone is afforded equal justice under the law. That's why I don't take this responsibility lightly. Just as I have throughout my entire legal and judicial career, I am committed to protecting our freedoms, and I'm committed to fairness and impartiality in our justice system. It's not only what the people of Wisconsin expect, it's what they deserve and what the oath I have taken demands. The Wisconsin Supreme Court's execution of our duties without favor to special interests, political pressure, or our own personal beliefs is vital to giving the people of our state trust and confidence in our judicial system. That's because the court has a unique and critical responsibility to interpret and apply the law when there are disputes. Our decisions, every one of our decisions, will have real-life, far-reaching consequences for the many people in this state. The issues that will come before this court are complex. Many of them deal with our most basic rights that are outlined in our Constitution. Decisions that this court will be making will impact some of the most important aspects of our daily lives. We need to ensure that the public has confidence in our decisions. We can do that, as Justice Ann Walsh Bradley just said, by improving transparency and accountability in the courts. Wisconsinites deserve to know that we are making decisions based on the law and the facts before us. To my colleagues who are here today, I'm under no illusion that we will always agree, but I respect each of you immensely, and you have my promise to work with you to fulfill our duties to the people of Wisconsin. The responsibility before us and the importance of our job is weighty, but I'm ready to get to work, and I'm ready to deliver justice and common sense as a member of this court. As I think of the challenges and responsibilities ahead, I'm reminded of our state motto, forward. It's not only a motto, but a value that is ingrained in this state that calls on all of us to work together to make our state stronger and to ensure justice and fairness for all. I know we can move forward, and I hope to make Wisconsin proud as a member of this court. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here today. It means so much to me to have this opportunity to thank you for your work and to recognize our shared belief in the rule of law and to move forward together. Thank you all so very much.
All right, so for those of you who didn't know who I was prior to taking the mic, I want you all to take a look at your watches right now. And if you knew anything about me, if you didn't, now you do. I'm a man of my word. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate you being present. Thank you for supporting Justice Protasiewicz. And there will be an after investiture party at Monona Terrace. I also have to inform everybody that the building closes at 6 o'clock. So, thank you all.
News 3 Now is always on. Get the Channel 3000 app, activate the push alerts, and we will send you breaking news, traffic, and weather alerts as it happens. The Channel 3000 app. Get it now. Powered by News 3 Now.